Welcome to this Grandma's Life podcast. I'm your host, theciaellis. Get ready to laugh, learn, and grow with me as we explore growing old in an ever-changing world. One of the good things about growing old is that people judge you less when you say some outrageous things. I'm getting older and I've had a fascinating life. I also have opinions. You may not agree with these opinions, and I may not care. Even now, I'm passionate about many things. I love to learn. I love quotes. I love my animals on the farm, and I care about my country. Join me as we explore loving life, even as we age. Today is February 6, 2025. This is episode 74, Wasted Talents. In this episode, we're going to discuss our God-given talents, and I will talk to you about that in a few minutes. But first, we got farm happenings. All right. My husband is, I guess, a typical man in a lot of ways. They don't go to the doctor. They don't go to the doctor. They don't go to the doctor. And all of a sudden, they're going to go to the doctor. And he's had a huge lump on his shoulder for years and years. And I was a little aggravated because his previous primary care physician never even noticed it. And so finally, he decided he's going to have something done about that. And then about a year, and that's probably been 10 years since he's had that lump on his shoulder. And then about a year ago, he started having some trouble with his eye, maybe a little bit even longer than that. And he finally got some glasses after several years a few months ago, and they told him that he had a busted capillary in his eye. And so last week was kind of a busy week. We first went down to, because Tom is a Native American, he's Cherokee. He had an appointment to go down to see the surgeon about his shoulder, and was going to schedule the surgery. And the doctor took one look at it and goes, "Oh, no, I can't do surgery on that. You've got to go get an ultrasound first." And so we scheduled the ultrasound and went a couple of days later and got in there and did that. And then the same day as the ultrasound, Tom had an appointment with a retina specialist in Tulsa. So the consultation was in Tahlequah, which is an hour and a half south of us. The ultrasound was in Veneta, which is 45 minutes northeast of us, and Tulsa is about 45 minutes southwest of us. We were going through all of those 3 days in one day. We haven't, as far as I know, we haven't heard anything about the results of his ultrasound yet, so we can't schedule the surgery. I thought it was going to be one of those. When we went to see the surgeon, I was thinking, because it is obviously just under the skin and everything, I thought, well, maybe they could just lance it and do it in the doctor's office and stuff. And he's going, no, we're going to have to put you under general anesthesia and dig the whole thing out. I was like, ew, okay. All right, we'll get that done. So that's what we've been doing there. And we did go to the retina therapy or retina specialist, and he didn't get there. He's going to start having injections in that eye because of the busted capillary. So I don't know. I guess he's falling apart on me. But there was cool thing that happened on the way back. We took a different route back from Tahlequah, and I think it was south of Wagner. I'm trying to remember what lake that is. It might be Gibson. I can't remember. But there's a place called Pelican Landing. Okay, that's cool. No big deal. But actually, it was. We were driving over a bridge, and I looked down. And I said, "Wow, look at all those white birds down there." And so I decided to pull off and check it out, because the swim beach was completely covered with white birds, and about maybe a tenth of them were pelicans, and all the rest of them were, I don't know, seagulls. That's hard. I don't know if you have seagulls in Oklahoma or not, but they were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, maybe even thousands of them. And so it's pretty cool. We got footage of them. Oh yeah. And then we found some, I think they were called Canadian geese off to one side and stuff. But they were all over the beach, completely covered the beach. They were on the water. I mean, the whole section was just covered with white birds. So we got some footage of it, and I'll probably put it in one of my videos for Grandma's Homestead, but I haven't gotten anything else recorded yet to put it on there. But it was kind of cool too. I'm glad I stopped. I'm glad, because I was basically, when we go long distances, I drive on the highway because I love to drive on the highway. And when we do in-town stuff, Tom does the driving, especially in Tahlequah, because he's from that area, and I don't know anything about Tahlequah. I mean, I kind of know I can make my way around this stuff, but when it comes in-town driving, I let Tom do it. When it gets on the highway, I want to get there. I don't want to drive 55 with the speed limit 65, you know. So I like driving when we get on there. So we moved the chickens and the ducks from the pen they were in and put them in where the garden is going to be this next spring, and got them in there. That's been kind of a problem though, because apparently there's several holes in the fence, and I've lost, I think 5 ducks, 4 or 5 ducks, something like that. I'm down to 6. So yeah, I've lost 5 ducks, and that's kind of discouraging. I don't know how many chickens I've lost, if any. But I'd go out there in the morning, there'd be like a hole bigger than a basketball underneath part of this fence. And there's no wonder it's having losses. But we got them moved. They're scratching everything up, fertilizing it, and getting it ready for the spring. Tom used to be a beekeeper years ago, and he quit. And just literally hasn't done anything with his bees in, I don't know, 8 years, something. I don't know, 7. I don't know. It's been a while. And then all of a sudden now he wants to get back into beekeeping. And so I know he doesn't have several beehives in other parts of Rogers County, because I think that they've been moved off or something, and maybe even claimed by someone else. It's hard to say. But we have about 40 hives on the south end of our property here. And he went down and checked the other day, and he's actually got 2 hives that are still going. So I guess he's getting back into beekeeping. All right, what I'm still listening to Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink and Leif Babin. And I'm still listening to Heretics of Dune. I'm on the second listening of Heretics of Dune by Frank Herbert. And I'm glad I did that. I'm glad I listened to it again. What I'm reading, I'm still reading. And some of these, it takes me a while to get through because I'm just, life. But I'm reading and studying Spuds, Spam, and Eating for Victory, Rationing in the Second World War by Catherine Knight. And a new book I've started working on is Muscular Retraining for Pain-Free Living by Craig Williamson. And it says MSOT. I don't know what MSOT is, but that's his title, I guess. And I just finished last night Elsewhere by Dean Koontz. Love Dean Koontz. Love his work. And so I finished that one, and I'm going to start a different novel. It's not going to be Dean Koontz novel tonight. It's a whole different one. My quote of the week: it's easier to go from failure to success than from excuses to success. John C. Maxwell. And I think I've done a little bit on him in the previously, so I just kept it short this time. He was born February 20th, 1947. He is an American author, speaker, and pastor who has written many books, primarily focusing on leadership. Titles include The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership and The 21 Indispensable Qualities of a Leader, And some of his books have been on the New York Times bestseller list. So, and of course, like anybody else, there's more to him, but that's what I'm going to tell you today. So I'm going to repeat. It's easier to go from failure to success than from excuses to success. It's John C. Maxwell. And I chose that because I think it kind of goes with what we've got going tonight. And I'm going to look it up real quick so I can read it to you. And it's going to come across, I guess, as a Bible lesson, but it's not necessarily, even though I'm going to be reading some scripture and do a little bit of talking about it. But if you know me at all, I can make something not a Bible study in a heartbeat. So we're doing Matthew 25:14-30. And this is called the parable of the bags of, now see, mine calls it a parable of the bags of gold. And, but anybody who did Sunday school, that's what we called it, the parable of the talents. Okay. Again, it will be like a man going on a journey who called his servants and entrusted his wealth to them. To one, he gave 5 bags of gold, to another 2 bags, and to another 1 bag, each according to his ability. Then he went on his journey. The man who received the 5 bags of gold went at once and put his money to work and gained 5 more bags. So also the one with 2 bags of gold gained 2 more. But the man who had received 1 bag went off, dug a hole in the ground, and hid his master's money. After a long time, the master of those servants returned and settled accounts with them. The man who had received 5 bags of gold brought the other 5. Master, he said, you entrusted me with 5 bags of gold. See, I have gained 5 more. His master replied, well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness. The man with the 2 bags of gold also came. Master, he said, you entrusted me with 2 bags of gold. See, I have gained 2 more. His master replied, well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness. When the man who had received 1 bag of gold came, Master, he said, I knew that you're a hard man, harvesting where you have not sown and gathering where you have not scattered seed. So I was afraid and went out and hid your gold in the ground. See, here is what belongs to you. His master replied, you wicked, lazy servant. So you knew that I harvest where I have not sown and gather where I have not scattered seed? Well, then you should have put my money on deposit with the banker so that when I returned, I would have received it with back interest or received it back with interest. So take the bag of gold from him and give it to the one who has 10 bags. For whoever has will be given more, and they will have an abundance. Whoever does not have, even what they have will be taken from them. And throw that worthless servant outside into the darkness where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. So, like I said, when we were raising, it was called the talents. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that with the MacArthur Bible commentary too. And I'm going to read you a couple of snippets of what I read from that. The parable of talents illustrates the tragedy of wasted opportunity. The man who goes on the journey represents Christ, and the servants represents professing believers given different levels of responsibility. Faithfulness is what he demands of them, and the parable suggests that all who are faithful will be fruitful to some degree. The fruitless person is unmasked as a hypocrite and destroyed. Another thing he said, though, is the modern meaning of the word talent, denoting a natural ability, stems from the erroneous application of this parable to the stewardship of one's natural gifts. Not the actual weight measure of a talent of gold. That may be so, but I still feel this word is applicable. I still feel that even though he's talking about gold, I still think that when we talk about talents that God has given us, that it can be applied here. Because how many times have we been told, especially when we're young, that we were not living up to our potential? Grades, half-assing a chore, our choice of who we date, who we marry, our job choices. Think about how many times you can just think about over the years that things been telling you, you can do better than him. You can do better than that. You can be making so much more money if you're doing this job instead of that one, just different things like that. And how often have we realized that we took the easy route, made choices that we knew were not morally right, but the easiest at the time? Do we slack off on company time? Some people do on a regular basis, and every once in a while you're just not feeling it and you're slacking on company time or whatever. But and then you get to the point where there's like the man with 1 talent. He made excuses for his behavior. They don't pay me enough, so why should I put in out more effort? Do long lunch hours, watching television when I know the sink is still leaking, scrolling social media while my child is begging for attention. And you and we've all seen that. This poor little kid going, mom, 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 while the mom's sitting there on the phone. And when they've got the child right there in front of them that they need to be spending some time with. Even food and exercise choices. And then, so we claim we can't lose weight. I think I'm a little bit guilty of that. I struggle with my weight big time. And every once in a while, I just get the attitude, what, I'm never going to be skinny anyway. I'm going to eat this and enjoy life. And I do that. But not that often. A lot of times I really am trying, but every once in a while I get discouraged and eat what I shouldn't. And then quite literally what we do with our money or the talent, the bag of gold or whatever. I've often pondered many of these questions in my own life. Money, could I have made better money choices? Good Lord, how many times have we thought we could have made better money choices Financial choices. Did I really need that purse? Now, that with me is not an issue. I don't buy purses, but you know what I'm saying. Should we have gone out to eat when you got plenty of food in the refrigerator that you could be reheated and I don't, things like that. My words, what you say to your spouse, your children, your coworkers, the person in line at the grocery store, the person who cut me off on the road. Think about how you use your words, which, could be considered gold or talents or whatever too. Your work ethic in general. Could I have done a better job at the work, or am I on here? Am I getting paid hourly regardless of how well I do at my job? I mean, there's always, even if you're a hourly wage person, people who do this, that they know how little they can get by with and still keep their job instead of doing the very best of what they do and in their jobs. So, am I doing my best at home? Keep the house clean and stuff with my spouse, with my children. Am I doing my best with them? Am I using my talents that God has given me in all aspects, regardless of whatever they are? Am I using them to the best of my ability so that I would start with the 5 bags and end up with 10? Or am I more like the person with 1 bag and make excuses for my behavior? And then there's probably most of us with 2 bags. I don't know. Well, that's just kind of the way I'm seeing it, Yes, I understand it's supposed to be a faith thing, especially according to MacArthur, the talents and everything, of course, and he's done the bags of gold. And then again, I have to admit too, why would a rich man give bags of gold to somebody and then go away and leave? There must be more to that story, like being told to do something with that money, hey, I'm investing in this, do this business or something like that. But the Bible doesn't say that. So my brain is going, why did you give him the gold in the first place? And so why should he be mad if he only got the 1 bag back? Like I said, I can mess up a Bible story in a heartbeat. But MacArthur says that the talents are a measurement of faith. And this quote, the recipients of divine grace inherit immeasurable blessings in addition to eternal life and the favor of God. But those who despise the riches of God's goodness, forbearance, and long suffering, burying them in the ground and clinging instead to the paltry and transient goods of this world, will ultimately lose everything they have. So while I believe this is true, I can't help but also believe that this parable is also applicable to the dailiness of our lives, the choices we make, and why we make them, along with our many excuses for why we didn't do more with our talents. So I don't know. Give me your thoughts. What do you think? I mean, yeah, he specifically says it's about a faith thing, and I guess it could be directly related to that too. And it can be just a money thing like the bags of gold or anything, but it also could be our talents and what we do with the talents that God gave us. So, this is something that I thought about off and on for several years, probably since I first heard of this story. And so we're talking a lot of years. But I guess I just wanted to kind of share it with you, and I'd like to get your thoughts on it. What do you feel like? It's strictly money, or do you feel like it's faith, strictly faith, like MacArthur does, or do you think it's more like what I think of? It's how we go through life. Let me know, and send me an email at theciaellis@gmail.com. Okay, the fold card. Man, I tell you what, Bitcoin is doing is kind of going on a roller coaster ride and stuff, but it's still a good investment to get the fold card. Then what I've told you in the past is this is a prepaid debit card, and you take a section of your paycheck or some money, invest in, and prepay the fold card. And I use it for, and you can do it for a lot more because they have incentives to do it for a whole bunch more stuff. But what I do is as part of my budget, I set aside a certain amount of money to pay bills, and I set aside a certain amount of money to do specifically other things. And then there's this fold card that I use it for buying fuel for an occasional meal out, or we forgot to get this other grocery store. We need something, something from the grocery store. Just this is the money I set aside to get us from one payday to the next with just kind of, I don't know, extra money. But they've got to set it where you can pay your bills with it too. But I'm not the only one in the family, so I have to I have to do what I can do. But if you decide you want to do something like this, go to my link below for the fold card and use it. It doesn't cost you anything. It's just a prepaid debit card, and it, when you use it, you get what they call satoshis. You get it for however much money you spent. Plus, if you do whatever the incentive things that they have, and it's listed on the app, the things that you can get a higher percentage of satoshis for. And so satoshis are just miniature pieces of Bitcoin. And I did mine for a little over a year, and it didn't cost me anything extra at all. And I had accumulated over $500 in that I could cash out, and turn it into US dollars if I wanted to. And I had to do that at one point, and now I'm starting over, and it's slowly building back up again, and I'm getting satoshis. So it's pretty cool. So like I said, go to my link below and do that. I'd appreciate if you tell others about this podcast, share it with some other people, and give me a 5-star review. Where I can be found, I did just post something on Kinsey Lackey Sports YouTube channel. This is where Kinsey plays softball. I think there's a few older basketball things on it too. And I did Kinsey Lackey Sports originally so that after a long time after I'm gone, Kinsey can go back and watch the videos of when she was in high school, and hopefully if she ever has like a day where she's not feeling confident in herself or something, she can go back and watch these videos and know how truly talented she is and was. So I do that one, and plus it also was we're doing it now to kind of help find a scout to get her into a good college too for softball. I have grandmashomestead.farm. That's my website. My main YouTube channel is Grandma's Homestead. I have a Farm Animal Life YouTube channel. I can be seen on Instagram, TikTok, X, and Rumble under theciaellis or theciae. My regular Facebook is Thecia V. Dayhoff-Ellis. How's that for a mouthful? And then I do now have a Grandma's Homestead Facebook page. This is all I got for you today. Think about your talents. Think in whatever form that you want to do, and be more purposeful in how you use them. I encourage you to live until you die. This life is all we've got on this earth, and the talents is not time is also a way that you use your talents too. If you're wasting your time, you're wasting your talent, and you're wasting your life. God bless, guys. I'll see you next time.